our general anniversaries, we are going to do a 10 years. So who's starting?
My time is nearly gone. I come. My time is nearly gone. I come tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate. A chance and hope of my procuring imminence. Thank you, Chico. You're always a good friend of mine. You will be visited by free spirit. What? Was that the chance of hope that you mentioned, Chico? It was. In that case, never mind.
Jim Poulin, your number is up. As you can see, I've always looked up to Jim. Could I get away with saying you're a bit of a pain in the neck, though?
Sure.
No, actually, I transitioned to the IT group a couple years ago, and Jim has always made me feel like a team member, even for his whole time here. And he's an even-keeled guy, even when things are rough, so I really am honored to introduce his 10-year anniversary. Unlike Scrooge, though, who had to have three spirits come and help him understand himself, we are going to have 3 visitations to help us know more about Jim. So, yeah. We'll be visited by the spirit of employment past, present, and future. Are you ready?
I remember how to do this. Hi. Oh my God, some things never change. The anniversary is this month. Oh, no. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rhonda Brebeck, the former HR director, and I was fortunate enough to be involved in Jim's hiring. So we're going to go over that today. Okay, I hope I'm doing this right. Okay, so those of you who know Jim or you don't, he has several big loves, one of which is kayaking, and of course when I drove in today, what's on top of his car? Kayak. So that's that bearded guy trying to get out of those woods in there. Doesn't seem right. The other big love of his, and he has many, don't want to eliminate Dawn in the list of big loves, is skiing. So let's remember this as we go through his history. He's a graduate of UVM. He graduated with a BS in computer science. First job out of college was at Gould Electronics, and this is really kind of interesting. I think he worked on something called programmable controllers, see? And they're, I love this word, they're ruggedized computers. So they must be as big as this building. But he was there for about 4 years down in Massachusetts, then came back, worked at National Life Group, started there as information systems capacity planning analyst, and oh God, does that sound like a job, right? But anyway, he ended up being director of that division, stayed there for about 13 years, and then went to Northfield Savings Bank, where he was chief information officer. He was one of probably several VPs, as banks go, they always have VPs. But I remember in the interview, and maybe Jim remembers this too, he said that they were grooming him to be president of the bank. Now remember the first picture, that bearded guy in the woods? Not my picture of a bank president. This is more like a bank president, don't you think? I don't think he owns a suit, Jim, do you? Yeah. So we won't get into
Was it a dress or a...
Hey, we'll get into that. See, I can say that now. I'm not HR director. But anyway, so he started looking for a a new job. And I did talk to Dawn, because I wanted to be reminded about what intrigued him about going to Gartner's. And the first thing, now this isn't in order, but she said, the retail operation. Something he had never done before, and that was a new challenge for him, so he liked that. He also loved our mission. I mean, who couldn't? Improving the world through gardening. It's just it tugs at the heart, and that was really meaningful to him. And employee ownership also was pretty important to him. This is when we became 100% employee owned now, right?
There he is.
There he is, right there. So that was important to him as well. So of course we sent him through tons of interviews. Jim, you must have been involved. Maybe Tina Pirelli, because it's been a while. But Max Harris. Yeah, Deb. Peter Gaylord, Alan Brown, probably Mark Heinzer. You know, we send people through. We got to make sure we're going to hire right. But it really became pretty clear. He had great experience for us. He had just implemented this big technology platform overhaul. This was back in '06, and in our future, we didn't know it, was DAX, still unnamed. And I think that was a clincher for us. He had great negotiation experience, also a great tipping point for Jim. So October 2006, we did bring him on board as our Chief Technology Officer. What I remember, and I'll turn it over to Employment President, is what I liked about Jim was you sent him an email, because we love email. You sent Jim an email, and not 2 minutes later, he's at your door with the answer. Anybody else experience that with Jim? Yeah. I loved
Why
it.
he shows up sometimes. Why would you show up?
But anyway, I love that about him. So that was his employment past. Now I don't know what to do.
So I'm going to start out with an apology, because when I said I would be the ghost of employment present, I thought they said the roast of employment present. So the IT team, I apologize to them in advance, because you're kind of along for the ride. So here's a picture of old Jim, which is young Jim, back when he was really a handsome guy back then. I guess new Jim is kind of the old Jim. He's, yeah, it looks pretty good, a little weathered. So Jim's contributions to us have been quite significant. I don't know if you know that Jim and the IT team support over 130 systems. 130? 130 systems here at Gardner Supply. And you know how I know that number? Because every week he tells me, you know we support over 130. So they've given me, so this is not about his whole team, it's about Jim. They've given me about 2-3 minutes to talk about his accomplishments. So I went back at his performance reviews, and I determined that 2 or 3 minutes should be plenty. I might need some filler, so we'll so Jim's done a lot for us, but rather than go through a long list of accomplishments, because quite frankly I didn't find a long list, I thought I would focus on his signature accomplishment, which has been Microsoft Dynamics. And so Jim started in 2007, but DAX really got going for us in 2009, when we sort of did the negotiations. The 2 years before that, I really have not been able to determine what he was doing during that time. So I did look back at what's that? So, yeah, okay. I know, I'm going to pay the price later on. Email migration. Looking at his reviews, it started back in 2009 on his goals was to finish the OMS negotiation, get the deal done, and start the implementation of DAX. Now, unfortunately, we didn't hit that goal, but I know it's not by any fault of Jim, because he was just totally focused. Nothing would distract him from it, and just some things got in the way, and some of the projects go, and so he didn't make it in that goal. So then it was 2010 where he had his goal was to complete the implementation of DAX as the foundation for our holiday 2010 campaign. And again, unfortunately, we missed it in that year, but it wasn't really through any fault, because Jim, he'd go day and night on DAX, nothing would distract him. It was just, totally his focus in there. So in 2011, on his goals was to implement DAX, that time for the foundation of the holiday 2011 campaign. We didn't hit that campaign, but again, it wasn't really through any fault of Jim, because he was just constantly in front of his screen, fingers to the bone, and raw from working on the computer work and so forth, and we didn't get there. So for holiday, for 2012, you have the goal to implement DAX, this time for our summer 2012 campaign. And also then to complete DAX Phase 2. Remember Phase 2? Well, we did, we went live, summer 2012, so that was great. We didn't really quite the Phase 2, but again, it was, it wasn't any fault of Jim, he was just here, totally focused, he said he was underwater with work. But I think for such a complex project, we're glad we had Jim, who gave us such a clear sense of direction, which way to go. He had a clear vision for how we were going to get there. Okay, so that's a little bit about our DAX project. I'll go back to the original picture of Jim. In sincerity, Jim has made a tremendous contribution to us. Certainly DAX has been critically, it's a huge project from our old Sigma microcontroller days. It's the foundation for where the business goes in the future, and he really helped drive us to that decision and implementation. And in so many other ways, whether it's SharePoint or phone systems, new web relaunches, just system after system. We do a lot here, and we've stayed very up to date, and it's really through Jim's leadership. He really contributes in a lot of other ways as well. He's a great contributor, our contributor. This is he and his team, his leadership of his team, working on Company Farm. Here's Jim hiding up there. Day in the dirt, showing us how tall he is. Day in the dirt in the community. So been really a great key manager and a leader for our organization. And even back to DAX, it really was, it was really his insight, it was really his professionalism that really helped drive us in that project. And this was Jim from when we had a celebration of DAX going live. I think he was out there in the white leisure suit, which I believe he owns in his closet. And he stepped up in other ways. He's one of our 3 ESOP trustees. It's an important fiduciary responsibility. There's almost nothing, our retirement is, you want to have it, this is our future in his hands. You want to sense some confidence in that person. And actually, this was actually reading of the share price, right? This was guess the share price when we read it. So this was a fiduciary thing. But if you know Jim, he's kind of an introvert. He's quite quiet in the meeting. But I'm glad he was able to step out of his comfort zone in ways that he never would in the rest of his life. So these are pictures from various stages of his life. I think the most important is probably the one on the left, because another significant accomplishment was this 2 years ago. 3 years now, when that's his then girlfriend Dawn, now his wife Dawn, where they, as part of his life stage here, made that most important commitment that you can make, which is, of course, to purchase a Winnebago. And they did get married. Okay, so you can see that Jim is a great spark to the organization, which is many things we love. But really, whether it's DAX or now the work he's doing with groups of project management and Basecamp, his greatest concern has been making us better every day. We're really thankful to have him in that role, and he's made a meaningful difference. So congratulations on 10 years. And wait, there's more. Okay. Yeah.
You look like you've seen a ghost. 100 years I've been doing this. That line never gets old. I'm the ghost of Poulin's future. I'm here to foretell some events from your future. What's on my list here? James Poulin. Am I pronouncing that right? Yes. So the U is silent. That's very clever. So on James's retirement, he takes off across the country in his RV and is discovered in a biker bar. Lands in a role in Pirates of the Caribbean 15. The rise of the CTOs. The movie's a modest success, but he's not invited back for Pirates 16 due to creative differences with Johnny Depp. But the inside story is that Depp had serious beard envy. And if you look, you can see. This little mascara kind of pencil thin thing versus help. I got a wild animal going on my face. Flush from his recent successes ignoring nepotism and antitrust laws, Trump signs an executive order repealing the 22nd Amendment, making himself president for life. Poulin has the good luck, while touring down in Mar-a-Lago with some banking cronies, to be playing in the group behind Trump. Trump is so impressed with him that he offers him a position in his department as Commerce Secretary. Says Trump, and I quote, "Jim is an amazing, tremendously fabulous candidate. His experience as an ESOP trustee and supporting a website make him very qualified for my cabinet. In fact, he will be the most qualified member of my cabinet." Poulin declines the offer, citing the White House dress code forbidding Hawaiian shirts and the open container prohibition. This public rejection gains Jim much notoriety, leading him to cross paths with the one and only Jimmy Buffett. Jim ingratiates himself to the parrot head and plays bongo in his band for a number of years, before retiring to Margaritaville, earning a modest living as a tequila tester. All these fine people thank you, Jim, for your 10 years of service.